What's up? What's good? What it do? What up with it? However you say it in your region of the world. Thanks again for being here with us. I am one half of the co-hosting team. This is Marriage for Grown Folks. I am Steve, and this is my lovely co-host.
Liz.
And wife, I might add.
Yes.
Only for a couple of years. Where we at, 19, 18, 17?
18.
I lost count.
19 in June.
19 in June.
19 in June.
How about that?
Yeah.
When is silver? 25? Is 25 silver? How do you do it? 25 silver.
It's like, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see.
What do you when you celebrate the years for your anniversary? Well, no big deal. Mark, good to see you, man. You as well. I like the shirt you got on, sir. You told me that was in honor of Derek Fisher's big shot years ago.
I don't know what it's about.
All right.
0.4.
0.4. Legally, you can't do that anymore, can you? Is it? No, it's 0.3.
Is it?
I think it's 0.3. You can get a shot off. I could be wrong. But he knocked that sucker off and took off running. I told you that's old school basketball. We knocked this shot down. We ain't letting nobody take a look at the cameras. We're on the bus. Game over.
Right. Yes.
Unlike how they did us a couple of months ago. Don't relive it.
It wasn't even a couple months ago,
Okay.
right?
Copy
it was
that.
like, it's still fresh.
Yeah.
It's still fresh. Yeah.
I don't like when things are taken from me.
I-
I really struggle with that.
I get it.
Really, really, really struggle with that.
We'll talk about that like
Another
for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time, we'll be talking about that.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, taking the time. If you subscribe, this is a safe place. If you subscribe to the beautiful institution that we call marriage, the partnership, the lifelong journey that you take with your partner, this is the place for you. We're here to talk about not all things, but a few things regarding marriage. And sometimes we'll veer off a little bit, have a little fun. But nonetheless, we hope we either entertain you, we help you a little bit, or, either turn you into somebody who might want to get married. Because we just found out we got a lot of people listening that are not married.
Isn't
and
that wild?
Young.
Yes.
How about that?
That's kind of wild to us.
Yeah. Shout out to my 32, 33, 34, 35-year-olds out there that we had no idea even cared that we exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is good.
That's really cool.
Good feedback.
Really good feedback.
They want to know more about us.
Right.
Wow.
It's all right. We give you, little morsels here and there.
Yep.
Little morsels here
Just
and
get
there.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to.
Oh, sorry. Just to check on you guys. Mark, how you doing? You good?
Good.
And how are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
You look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. So do you.
Yeah, I
babes.
just didn't want, you're a little too sexy for me. I don't want everybody else knowing how sexy you are. You know what I mean? I worked hard. Why they get to just tune in for free and I got to, I'm sorry. But you look great. I bet
Thank
you
you.
smell great too.
I do.
All right. What is
Thank
that?
you.
Something French?
It's Jimmy Choo. Mm-hmm.
I know I ain't buy that one.
You didn't.
I didn't buy that
I got
one.
it as a gift.
From who? I'm joking. Joking. Yeah. What you got?
I was just going to say 25th is silver, just
It is
FYI.
silver.
Mhm.
Okay.
I just looked it up. Yep, it is silver. So
Silver anniversary for all of you guys out there wondering what we're talking about. 25 years is the silver
we're
anniversary.
not quite there yet.
Right. We're still trying to celebrate the 10th.
Oh my goodness. So the little joke is that we have been planning a 10th renewal for almost 10 years now.
Almost 10 years now.
Yeah. So hopefully June 2026, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got a good shot at that one.
Maybe.
But you
We'll
know what?
see.
It'll be somebody else getting married and we're not going to want to run on, But either
Actually,
way,
your cousin's getting married. Just FYI.
there it is.
August of 2026.
how about that?
Yep. Anywho, ready for temp check?
I am.
Okay, let's go. What's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, if you don't know me by now, for those of you watching, I'm finicky. I'm an extremely finicky eater. My sister says I eat like a 6-year-old, and she's right. And this was something that I brought with me from my childhood all the way till now. I've explored a little more. I've expanded I have a more diverse palate, if you will. But I'm a very finicky eater. When I say stuff like that, I mean I don't like food that is too wet. I don't eat a lot of things that people normally eat. Even though I do eat cheese, I will not drink a glass of milk. or Calp as I call it. I'm all set.
I need him to grow up.
If I do eat cereal, I eat it dry.
He does.
Like popcorn, right?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yep.
Nice
like
and dry.
So yes, I'm a very, very finicky eater, and my son has definitely taken after me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like what I like.
If I were to answer that question for you,
Mm-hmm.
I would have answered the same way.
Shout out to my sister too. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, that or just the fact that sometimes people think that you're like extremely serious, and you are so not. He's so not serious, but he presents a certain way, and
Yeah. I'm always thinking about something silly. Sorry, but it's my truth. And if you don't know that, then you don't know me. How about you, ma'am?
So the first thing that I could think of was that I can say the alphabet backwards.
Really?
Yes. I don't know why. That was the first.
Do it. Do
I
it.
knew you were gonna say
Do it.
that.
Do it. You got to do it. Come on.
ZYXWVUT SRQPNO. I think I might have done that. PONMLKJIHG FEDCB and A.
I learn something new every day. Incredible.
I knew you were gonna put me on the spot.
That
But
is wild. I've never.
As a kid, I used to have trouble sleeping, and so there was just like a moment where I had trouble sleeping, and I had this frame, and it had the alphabets, and it was like alphabet to your dreams or something like that, and so I would read it from the bottom up, and then down and up as a kid, and I learned.
I
the
gotta be
alphabet
honest. That
backwards
is interesting, fascinating, very cool, and I had no idea.
Oh, I don't think we've ever talked about that.
I would have never known. I don't have a shot. I don't have a shot. ZEX.
ZYX
That's all I got.
WUT. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That is really, really good. I forgot to ask you guys as well. Wow. How cool is that? But what are you guys listening to right now? What are you listening to, Mark?
You don't want to hear my answer.
Yeah, we
you got?
do.
Pink Floyd?
Drake and P&D.
Oh, Drake. Oh, I mean, I expect that.
Just give me a hug.
Right. Once again, to each its own. I am not, as far as my R&B palette goes, I am not driving past R&B artists who have. It's not for me.
It's midweek, and he has said this twice already.
It's not for me.
Not just today, but we were talking about it, and
Give me some
mentioned
Tuscan leather, bro.
he's like, I'm not gonna pass up El Mean.
Leon Thomas.
No. Yeah.
Shoot.
I was like, okay, rub his back. Rub his back. Okay.
I'm not driving past those R&B exits to get to Drake's R&B exit. But,
It's fine. It's cool.
I think he's a dope lyricist, dope beats, dope rhymes. It ain't that hard for me. But when you have that type of talent, by all means, get after it, killer. What do you listen to, man?
So specifically today, I put on, what is it? Me, Him, You, Her Dynasty album, Jay-Z.
Oh, wow.
That was on repeat
Yeah.
while I worked out because I did not want to. And that typically like boosts my energy, gets me going. So I had to loop that one this morning.
Okay.
I think I might have said the name wrong. But y'all know which one I'm talking about, right?
Right. I
You,
do.
me, him. Yeah. You, me, him, her.
Yeah.
Them.
It's a lot. You know what? When you look back on that album, there was a lot of cuts on there. I remember because I struggled with that project.
We did. I remember.
Because it had a lot of like West Coast sounding, and our ears weren't tuned into that quite.
Right.
And then as we got older, I'm like, oh, they did a good job.
Yes.
And there was a lot of posse cuts on there too.
Yes.
Especially on the Gift and the Curse, a lot of posse cuts. Ironically enough, I haven't listened to Hove in a minute.
Really?
But
We
were listening,
Yeah.
and that was a compilation, a playlist that I put together. So I've been listening to what I call the deep cuts. So Jay-Z deep cuts.
Okay.
When you really like an artist, like, do you just like the songs that everybody else likes that are poppy and rise to the top of the charts, or do you listen to side A and side B? I know you don't know anything about side A and side B, Mark. But
Drake does.
I'm not doing this. Mark has decided he's gonna poke me today. Pause.
Does Chris Brown do like A and B sides too, or does he just have
Chris
a lot,
Brown does.
a long?
40 songs now.
Yeah, I don't get through anyway.
I don't think that's how anyone consumes music, but whatever, whatever. But yeah, that's where we are with music. Yeah, that was a really good temp check. I'm still tripping over you having this mysterious power and ability to be able to say the alphabet backwards that fast. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, man. So now that you guys have learned something at the same time that I have with my wife, Lord have mercy. I thought being finicky was fascinating and interesting. Nah. She can say
Well,
her
let me
alphabet
ask you though.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you. So I would have said finicky. What would you have said of me? Something that people don't know of me.
Something that people don't know of you.
Right. Because I answered it in a way that you wouldn't have imagined. So I'm curious. Like, what would you have said?
I don't know what pops into my head when. What do you think that about Lizzie? And
Okay, I put you on the spot.
Yeah,
So sorry about that.
I'm drawing a blank.
Something people would be surprised to learn about me.
I'm surprised to learn about you. I don't think people know what you were professionally. I mean, I don't think people know what you did professionally for 17, 18 years.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's just assumed that you're a wife and a mother and a great friend and,
Not a great friend.
yeah, and a coach, a life coach, at times to your clients. But I don't think people know how great of an educator you were. I don't think people know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Obviously, your kids don't believe in it.
They don't buy in.
They don't buy.
I was an English teacher for a number of years.
Amongst other things.
And then
don't
moved
sell yourself
into,
short.
I wasn't finished.
Sorry.
Babe. Special education. And then, so I taught special ed for a few years and moved into educational leadership where I led a department and did some assistant principal work. And yeah, so deep dive in education.
If you were an athlete, I'd be your agent because you still sell yourself short.
You think so?
You forget about the PEAS program, which means you're educating adults.
You didn't ask me that though.
So the PEAS program,
okay, fine.
adult ed.
Oh yes, I taught adult ed.
I think you did.
I taught women who were. So there were groups of women who were on the verge of losing their families through DCF, and so before I actually became an educator, I actually would go into the homes as a woman who was not a mother, and I would teach these women how to get their life in order so that when they went to court, they could get all of their steps in order so that they could then get their children back or not lose their children, because many of them, the children were already in the home but were on the verge of being, what do you call it? Placed elsewhere.
They was about to have their kids taken.
Yeah.
The state was coming to take them kids.
I was trying to say it a little more eloquently, but I didn't even think about that. I haven't done that in so long.
Listen, I know from Cromwell student teaching.
Oh my God.
To the PEAS
a lot of
program,
teaching.
to the middle school that you did for a minute, to going back and getting your SPED credential, to getting your master's, and then going into
I got my master's before
master's, and then the SPED, and then admin, and then you did the WASC, which is people don't. That's no joke. You've run the gauntlet. You've been everything except a head principal for that matter. Am I off?
No.
All right. Well, you need to know. People should know that you are a pro.
And now here I am on a podcast with my husband.
How about that?
Life
she don't
is
like
good.
that. She doesn't. You can
Life
tell she
is
does
good.
not like that spotlight. But going back to you going in and helping people not have their children taken by the state, I'm going to move into our Shoot It Straight. Our Shoot It Straight segment where we talk about a few things that are in pop culture and maybe some things that you don't know, and hopefully you're entertained and learn something. As we say, as a married couple with obligations and bills and things that we're doing, we are in our bubble. But we do come up for air, to find out what's going on. For me, I tell you this all the time.
Yep.
The gym helps me a lot.
Yes, definitely.
Because in the gym, there's about 10 monitors, and each monitor is on a different channel. And if you're listening or watching, I think it would behoove you to take 2 to 3 minutes just every day, just to scan the world and find out what's going on. Not just your social media, right? Just flick through CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and find out what's going on out there in the world. Go to your local news station like I do sometimes. Find out what the weather is, what might be coming up. Hop on to YouTube, see what your algorithm feeds you. Find out what's going on, with music, with faith, the faith world, religion. I'm telling you, to make you a more balanced, well-rounded person. Know what's going on in your world. Our current president has made it clear that he likes people who have no idea what's going on. Right. So I'll leave that alone.
Noted.
But yeah. So this is a fun segment for us. It can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So first things, interesting piece that I learned about. There's a mom who was gaining some traction on social media and other places who, at the birthday party of one of her children, requested that everyone bring gifts for her other child because she didn't want her child to be left out. She thought that would be, she didn't want to neglect the feelings of the child whose birthday it wasn't.
So,
yep, I said that. I said it the way I said it. Can you imagine? What say you, Madam Elizabeth?
So I didn't hear the story, but I'm perplexed. I have questions. Can I?
Get after it.
Okay. Was this the first year that the youngest child is now aware that the older child has a birthday that's outside of?
I didn't dig too deep.
Okay.
But what I did hear was that there was a birthday party planned. And
on the invitation, it said bring 2 gifts.
Yep.
Susie likes this.
Yep.
And Johnny likes that.
I don't know how she did it or how she pulled it off, but that was trippy to me.
Okay, got another question.
Yes, I've got nothing for you, but you can ask it.
How did the guests respond?
Well, somebody obviously leaked it, and that's probably how she's gaining this traction via social media and other places, because somebody said something to someone, right? Somebody says something to a girlfriend, friend, coworker, or somebody they dropping off at the, in line when you drop your kids off. Girl, let me tell you about this broad.
What would you have done?
What? Lincoln, sorry, son.
You're not
gonna be going to this birthday party. I'm so sorry.
This is easy.
I will allow you to cry. Be emotional. Let it out. I'm here.
I got them free Sky Zone passes.
Boom.
Guess where we're going, babe?
Right.
Bigger and better.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the party that you won't be attending. I'm so sorry, son.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
Had the party already happened when this leaked, or was it?
Oh, I think it's just coming out now.
I
think it's just coming out now.
Okay.
Yeah. But for me, I heard everything in there. I'm just like, this is this participation trophy world that we live in.
Uh-oh.
This is the world of as Tom Ficara, I won't use that word, but he used to call it the wussification of America. That's slowly the thread of just toughness, not toxic masculinity, but just the unraveling of the toughness of who we are and what we're giving to our kids. And it really, really, perplexes me how we believe that the generation that we are blessing with all of this bring a gift for the other kid,
for the baby.
No, that to me, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for you to educate. Anytime you have, as a parent,
it's not
that you
your
get an
turn.
opportunity to educate and help your kids along in a developmental process, I think you
Right.
should take advantage of that. Hey, sweetheart, it's not your birthday. You might feel some feelings of jealousy. You might be this, that, and the third. It's okay to feel these things, but let's know what this is, and let's know that this is your brother's day.
Yeah.
And his friends will be here, and you'll have a good time, and you'll eat some good food, and we'll all smile and be happy. And when it's your birthday, we're gonna do the same thing. But what we not gonna do
is celebrate you today.
is celebrate you today. That's crazy.
Okay.
That's wild.
It is.
All right. So there's that.
Okay.
Number 2, Diana Taurasi is retiring. The GOAT, ironically, I wore the jersey last week.
Yeah.
I had the jersey on last week.
That's your girl.
That's my girl. And not just that, we're from Connecticut.
We are.
So women's basketball isn't a train that we just hopped on.
No.
That's what we know. We don't have any pro teams. So our pro teams are the women's and men's basketball team at University of Connecticut, even though I am a Duke supporter. But I am a huge, I follow my UConn men's. I'm not going to act like that's not a thing. But my girls, as far as the women go, I am a diehard UConn fan.
Yes, you are.
Like straight up and down. I'm standing in front of the TV. Like Gino called timeout. We still got time. The world's caught up with Gino. The world finally caught up. It only took 20 years, but the world is starting to catch up with Gino.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Shows how far along he was. But Diana Taurasi is retiring. I think she did 20 plus years.
20
years in the league and also international league that no one talks about. So that's playing double the amount of basketball that the average human would play, even though some of the WNBA season is shortened, but still that's going all year long.
That's seasons.
Yeah.
That's a long time, and I'm actually really surprised that her career went so far, not because of talents or anything like that, but just my connection, I would say, to Taurasi. We were on campus at the same time, and it's pretty cool. And we have a not so sober story together.
I wouldn't do it, but you can. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Do I think she's watching this? But I don't know. I'm good.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not going to go there. All I'm going to say is she does a mean crip walk.
While
Like
intoxicated.
I mean, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is I was partying that day. I think she was too. Not totally sure. But
It's in the books now.
yeah.
Gino can't get it now.
Right. But her and her friends were very much like, Gino's gonna kill me. So so that was that. That was our moment. We were in it.
With Aju Deng.
Yeah.
Aju Deng and Diana Taurasi. How about that?
You were?
I was with you. You forget that I was on the elevator with you?
I wasn't on the elevator
Oh,
for
I
that.
might be telling
For
on
that
myself.
story, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about because I was out. I was out in the yard. Look at you.
Running the streets. That's what happens. Moving on.
Yeah.
So all jokes aside, the great Diana Taurasi is gone, and I think I think the league is in good hands. She's done more than her share to help grow the game, I believe. And now you've got some magnificent talent coming in the league. Caitlin Clark is tough. Angel Reese is tough. There's still some players that can go, but of course, I'm partial to Juju Watkins.
I was about to say, what about
who
Juju?
I believe is Diana Taurasi 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
She's got the side. I won't do it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But salute to the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, number 3 UConn. Man, what a ride.
Yeah.
What a ride. Man, I feel that. Like I'm emotional. Carl Thomas.
Okay.
All right. So there's that. And last and certainly not least, on a political note, Mayor Eric Garcetti. Garcetti.
Yes. Garcetti.
No, I'm wrong.
No?
Adams.
Oh.
We're LA. We live in LA now.
Yeah.
Adams, New York, mayor of New York.
He's a problem, isn't he?
He's a problem.
Yeah.
He is a problem. I'm going
Bunch
to
of
go
stuff
backwards for context.
Okay, go ahead.
What he said today, or at least that's what people are seeing today, not verbatim, but I'll do the best I can.
Okay.
This is biblical. Like Jesus said on the cross, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I'm not done. These Negroes who are asking me to step down or resign, they don't know what they do. And people were cheering and applauding. He ain't say the N-I word. He said Negroes, which is old school.
Yep.
Negroes, old school. Right? And it sounded the bravado behind it,
Uncle Thomas?
cocoon, all that nonsense
Yeah.
that he was pulling was interesting. It was very
He
interesting.
had a whole bunch of stuff dropped.
Yeah. Now, I'm going backwards.
Oh, sorry.
So he's responding to, if you don't know about, Eric Adams, mayor in New York, He is the mayor, and while he's under not investigation anymore, but I believe he's up on charges that are speaking to him taking additional money or money outside of the parameters of what he was supposed to, $100,000 plus from some Turkish outliers who helped with his campaign.
Yes.
Also for taking some benefits, when you get on airplanes, stuff like that, getting first class and blah, 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 blah. I can't judge that stuff. It's not my business, right? But nonetheless, they are now filing to have these charges dropped by people appointed by our new president. Now, if you're asking why in the world, how that could be connected, by getting him off, now our now president gets to get what he wants.
Right.
And that's to get inside the biggest metropolis that we have, and that's New York, so he can get some things done on his behalf.
Pull some strings.
Right.
Right.
So just imagine
scratch your
how
back, you
that,
scratch mine.
boom.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think that is awful, but not just that. It's the precedent that it now sets in major cities like L.A., Chicago, and all these places where these mayors, they could have some stuff that they're running from. But if you do what I ask you to, don't you worry about that. You can get away with murder, but I need you to do this for me. That's not democracy. That's mafioso.
Yeah.
That's something different. So there's more to this. So they got to be careful how they tread. And it feels like the city's under siege and divided. But I don't live there.
Right.
So there's that. How you feel about that?
So, I mean, it just feels very much in line with
the moment.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts. I did have a question though,
yes,
because
ma'am.
I know, again, remember I told you I'm not a big politics person and think Trump will love me because I don't know a whole lot. And I have to get more informed, and I'm recognizing that, right? But I'm curious, how is that different from politicians in the past?
Great question. And I would say I think it hits because it's New York City.
Okay.
And once this judgment comes down, whether they dismiss or whatever, it will set precedents. As I said, it will be a rolling idea of how to move going forward.
Oh, okay.
And that ain't, so people are.
So that's the issue,
yes.
that second piece. Where it's
And
just,
behind it,
okay.
some people are, once again, resigning. They're
Right,
saying,
right,
no,
right.
this is not even legal. I don't want my name attached to this. This is not what I went to school for, what I believe in. So I'm
Some
peacing
people
out.
are.
Like, we're not doing this.
Okay.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
And in
On
line.
par for the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a hostile. I heard someone say that it feels like this is a hostile takeover.
Not
But
even 2
it
months.
is what it is.
It's not even 2 months.
This is not a political,
Okay.
platform. But nonetheless, we say what
Okay.
we said. Yeah. So there's our shoot it straight. All right. I like that.
Do you?
I really do like that segment.
You like it stretched like this?
I do. I'm cool.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. Great addendum. Mark. Great addendum.
Sometimes he geeks out a little bit, though.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't have a lot of friends.
I think it's okay.
I don't have a lot of friends.
He doesn't talk all day, so he can talk tonight. Okay.
Right. Isn't that crazy how I go from talking all day long as a coach and to, all right. So, okay. Now, some fun.
Fun.
This
was fun.
If you are a movie watcher, if you like cinema, if you like love stories, if you like that mushy stuff, rom-coms, we're getting into that. All right, you're not gonna dig, into some, get deep into the ocean with this one, but we want to have some fun and talk about some movies that are specific to love. Some rom-coms once again, and some that are flat out love stories. Yes, it is gonna be very black and urban, but there's also some things in there, some movies in here that we are not very black or urban that we've included. We'll tell you why we like them.
I was going to say.
We'll tell
yeah.
you. We'll express why we like them. How we identify with them or why we identify with them. Why we watch them over and over again. That would be me. What I mean, I'm a movie watcher, and also we're gonna rank them. And we know that when you rank things, someone's gonna be upset. I love all of y'all, but don't say nothing slick. Watch your mouth. And this is my wife. Yo, don't say nothing slick. Watch your mouth. All right, we're here for the fun. We're here for a good time, but please know it's just a list. All right? It's just a list. I promise. Let's get into it. So, just a little background. My wife made sure she's thorough. She said, "How are we doing this, and what are the criteria?"
I needed the criteria.
She needed the criteria. And of course, I responded by telling her, "I don't know.
Yep. He surely said that.
Just because I like them." And that was that. But movies for me, I'm a movie watcher. And if I watch a movie over and over again, I can relate to a character. Or I'm being told a story in a manner that I've never heard it before. I love the screenplay. I love the development of characters. I love the music that they choose. I love how they make their point. And those are the things that make me fall in love with movies, you know. Those are the things, you know. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm sure you've got your things as well.
Well, you talked about character development.
Yes, ma'am.
Relatability,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
storyline. Talked about just like miscellaneous things. So like messaging.
Oh, yeah.
What are some like motifs or themes that just surrounded by movies, and whether it's rated a classic or not, or whether we would rate it a classic, and then like our overall entertainment. So,
Well done, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Motif. Is that an SAT word or ACT word? I don't think I got either one of those. MOTIF?
It's just literary.
MOTIF?
MOTIF.
You know,
yes.
I've only seen the word motif on keyboards.
Why?
Is there a keyboard that says motif on it?
As in like a brand?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you know what it is.
Context clues.
Okay, cool.
So I'm all right.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. Okay. So the movies that we are going to consider here.
Wait, were you trying to make it like I was trying to say?
No, I think it was right on. No, I'm not jumping you.
You weren't jumping me. I thought maybe you thought I was trying to jump you.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Woman, I played basketball overseas. I've been cussed out in languages I can't even remember.
Right.
I don't speak. I'm pretty tough.
Okay, cool.
Pretty solid.
Yep.
But movies to consider, and we'll rank them in a second. But
Okay.
movies to consider, and we also have a few that we had honorable mentions as well that we thought we should
fought
at
a
least.
little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, disagreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay. So let's work our way up. You ready?
Sure.
Shall we?
Sure.
You take number 10 because this is your movie. It is mine too. It's very entertaining.
Okay, this was my choice.
It's a good movie.
It was. Oh, you kept it.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 10 being Trainwreck.
Trainwreck, Amy Schumer, LeBron. Yeah.
What's the other guy? The nerdy guy?
I don't know his name, but he's in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in everything. But that's a solid movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a cool movie, entertaining. I didn't fall asleep. Okay, so he gave a little bit of background. Let me give a little background as well. I am not the biggest movie watcher. It's just not. I don't want to say it's not my thing.
Right.
But I'm growing to love it a little bit more. But he loves movies. Has always loved movies. He will watch 3, 4, 5 movies, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to read my book now.
Yeah.
And
buddy.
so a lot of nights I end up reading a book and inadvertently kind of watching a movie with him. And so that was the point of contention because you don't really watch movies. Why do you even have an opinion about any of these movies?
How
right?
dare you? How dare you?
I'm like, I'm here watching it.
How dare you?
So, and so that's why I was like, I need the criteria that'll help me to kind of.
I need to know the criteria.
I need to be able to like gauge this. So anyway, I enjoyed Trainwreck. Relatability. I think just the fact that like she was such a piece of work. And there was
right?
yes. I mean, it was great, right? To watch who she was, how she evolves, how much of her dysfunction
That's the right
trickled,
word.
right, like trickled down into other spaces.
Self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage. The relationship with partner, I can't think of his name.
No matter.
The nerdiest. They were a great couple. Yeah. Anyway, I loved the humor in it, and sometimes she's a little too crude for me, but I did enjoy her in this movie. And I also loved LeBron's "I'm funny but not funny."
Right. They did a fantastic job.
I thought it was really good. And then that dance scene at the end, if that didn't win him over,
right.
I thought
you wanted them to be together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought they were like equally yoked. They were amazing. Great partnership, even with all her flaws.
Trainwreck. I dig Trainwreck.
Yeah, definitely
I
like
love
Trainwreck.
watching Trainwreck because it's a perfect movie for her. She nailed it. All right, numero number 9.
I think them as a duo. They
do well. They work well.
They worked well together.
But there was a ton of but you know how they do. There was a ton of it's Apatow, I believe. It might have been Apatow. Is that Judd? Apatow?
He's the producer, I believe.
There's going to be tons of comedians sprinkled throughout the movie.
Right.
So you're getting funny stuff all over the
time.
place.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good one. I might watch that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Might watch it tonight.
Whatever's left of the night.
Okay, fair.
All right.
Go ahead.
So number 9, Poetic Justice. All right, Poetic Justice. The love. I'll tell you just straight up and down without wasting too much time. Not one of my favorites. I know that is a big deal, you know what I mean, for some people, especially regarding the culture. Mm-hmm. You got Pac in it. You got Janet in there. You got some comedians. You got some stuff happening. They take this long trip and fall in love, and you're rooting for them eventually. Right? She's teaching him some things. He's teaching her some things. Right? Solid movie. Not my favorite. Just not. I don't go back to it often, but I've seen it a few times, meaning 6 or 7. But just not my thing. Maybe I'll go back as an older gentleman. You know what I mean? As a 44-year-old man turning 45 in April. Maybe I'll view it a little different now than I was when I was 18, 19, 21, 20, whatever it was. But as I told you, I did not like how Janet
I was waiting for it.
When Janet said Purani, that just, I know it's crazy. Something that minute could throw you off. And I was like, I'm good.
And in what year were you good with that?
The moment I actually seen it. But
so in like 96 or 97.
It would, but you gotta understand, I'm a hip hop junkie. So to watch Pac,
right,
he was acting. Matter of fact, he was acting, and I was like, this is natural for him.
Yeah.
At post Juice for me.
I mean, I thought he was great in Juice.
Absolutely. Partner. Nobody knows about that. We talk about that later.
Okay.
Partner is when his West Coast seeped through him.
Right. Like we in New York.
We in New York. Nobody's saying partner.
Nobody's saying partner.
But that's like, oh, he can't fight it. He can't fight it.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Poetic Justice, ma'am.
So, don't think I've watched that movie all the way through?
No, boy.
Yeah.
Well, the Braids would say you did. They highlighted Braids.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I remember that. She had the braids because she had really never had braids like that.
You know what doesn't help that movie?
What?
That's when she had that song, I heard from a friend.
Yes.
I hated that song, too.
Okay, so, right. So I think music plays such a huge role in how we feel about specific movies.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so that main track, because, like, if we get to number 1, I can already tell you why it's, you know.
Right, it hits where it hits.
Yes, exactly. And, and I mean, I can name that for a lot of the movies. But, yeah, her song was, like, the song. And it wasn't a hit. To me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's not harp on it because that might be somebody's joint and they going off on us right now. How dare you talk about my favorite?
Poetic Justice.
To each its own. It's subjective. Hang in there. We'll get there. Number 8.
Yeah.
Pretty woman walking down the street. Pretty. It's a classic without a doubt. Mm-hmm. Mark, have you seen Pretty Woman? Oh, what were you doing watching Pretty Woman, young boy? Go to your room.
He was watching it while his mother was doing whatever she was doing, and it was playing.
Pretty Woman. Have you seen Pretty Woman? Oh, man. Pretty Woman. It makes me, it makes you get all like...
Julia Roberts.
Yeah. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. But what if she's meant to be your wife? Mm. It really cut through some ideas and some really thought-provoking, scenes and moments where you're like, man, like this is tough. And then the way they wrote it, you start to buy into it, and then you're, oh my God, I'm rooting for them.
Right.
I love that movie.
The juxtaposition.
How about it? And that's called good cinema to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pretty Woman. This probably would have been ranked a little bit higher to me personally, but it's all good.
Okay. I wouldn't even fight you to move something out the way for Pretty Woman.
Okay.
Which is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, not my wife's favorite. Not my wife's favorite, but one of mine is Photograph. All right, The Photograph. Issa Rae. Yeah. I really.
Issa Rae and what's his name?
What's my man's name? Lakeith Stanfield. Stanfield.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the movie, but I believe that it's a combination because it was
the
thoughtful.
subplot.
It's the plot. It's
The
simple.
subplot.
The subplot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's you know me.
Yeah.
I need some depth.
That's what it
There's
was
a
for
subplot
you.
to it. So there's more than just a love thing happening. There's some time that's being addressed. There's some personal things that people are fighting through.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching. I love to see two black professionals. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching two black young professionals, operate and execute in their world in New York. The way they came together, as you said, the dad, knowing that was his daughter, and I'm a dad, and there's a certain love you have for your daughter, and just knowing how it happened, and also.
But it's not really. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
biologically, he's not
right.
the daughter. I mean, the father. And,
oh no, you mean that dad? Because she had two dads.
Right, but he wasn't the one that she meets in the South. Isn't
That's her dad.
No, I know that that's her father, but I'm saying he wasn't the father figure.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Just that's one of the things I loved because these are things. People are imperfect. Situations are imperfect.
Right, I get
and
that.
And sometimes for someone to be able to write that and articulate it, people naturally judge others. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he wasn't wrong, but mom had her stuff. Mm-hmm. So who's wrong? But here we are. And she wasn't stuck on it. And I was like, oh, that's mature of her. And then, of course, their love between her and Lakeith and him taking this job in London.
Yeah.
Even down to the, I love, they got Al Green in there.
He liked this movie a lot more than I did.
The soundtrack was good to me. Yeah, the soundtrack was really, really good to me. Mm-hmm. Well executed thought to me. I liked the characters. I even liked, what's his name? And I don't usually like him. The one I think him and Kevin Hart are the same.
Oh,
whatever the comedian's name. I can't think of his name. But I even enjoyed him in the movie. But finally, the fact that they addressed, what year did this come out? What, 2019 maybe? 2019, 2020? Maybe? Whatever.
2020.
2020. Mm-hmm. They had already had their first date and they addressed the Kendrick and Drake thing years before it went down. And they addressed it. You know what I mean? Of course, we just lived it. But they were addressing the elephant in the room. There's two hip-hops here in the same room. And every now and again, one has to check the other because there's two type of things that are happening. And I love that they had that conversation.
Okay.
So I dig that movie. I dig that movie. It is a slow burn, though.
It is a slow burn.
Yeah. Slow burn. So that comes in at number 7.
Yeah.
You're not your favorite.
No, not at all. Not my favorite. But that's okay.
You got 6, man. Where we at?
We're at Boomerang.
Go ahead.
No,
how old are we? That might be 92.
I was going to say like 91 or 92.
End of the Road. When was End of the Road?
91.
91.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
So that was the main song of the movie. But Boomerang is a classic. Mm-hmm. In all fairness, I couldn't watch it until I was an adult.
I couldn't watch it until I was an adult either. I just had to sneak and do it somewhere else.
But you did sneak and do it.
Right.
I didn't. So I didn't watch it till I was an adult.
Come on, you got to get it done. You got to have grit.
It didn't.
Determination.
It didn't matter that much to me. So I think we talked a little bit about this one, right?
Yeah.
So it's a classic for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, because Black folks love this movie.
Well, Eddie Murphy at his height.
There we go. And then we've got Robin Givens as the potential love interest.
Yep. And then the introduction of who will become our love.
Hi, Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
Yes. Right. So, I think this movie was great because it broke down some of those, I don't want to say stereotypes, right? But Marcus, right?
Marcus, darling. Eartha Kitt was in that movie.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she was. So there was a whole lot of like sexuality and all of that other stuff happening in this movie.
Sexuality, sensuality. They were pushing. They were definitely
pushed an agenda. Yeah. But I think in this time, right? So Marcus is like this womanizer, right? It's fair to say.
He liked women. Yes, absolutely. Womanizer is the proper word. That's the proper vernacular.
Okay, so I'm using the right words.
Yeah,
and
term.
so so he's a womanizer, but he's having a good time with Jacqueline.
Robin Givens.
Robin, yes. And then somehow, some way, he falls in love with
Halle Berry.
Angela.
Yeah, buddy.
And so anyway, it's this trial, this back and forth type of joust in a lot of ways, right? Because he's like, oh, I want to be a player, but I really do like this girl, and
no, he wants to be in love with Jacqueline. He wants to be. She's definitely piqued his interest sensually and sexually.
Right.
But then there's this wholesome girl, Angela, played by Halle Berry,
She's the
who
girl
has
next
his
door.
heart and he knows better. Like, this is the one.
Now, why
She's
they
the
try to
one.
play her though?
And this is why we talk about this movie. At the time, I believe there was a change. They talk about this in like Rocky IV. Let me nerd out for a second. Rocky IV was the end of the Cold War. So they played Rocky IV out via the Cold War.
Okay.
You know, Russia, United States, the Russian, Rocky.
Okay.
You know, old school training, new school training. But this was interesting because it was the embodiment, I believe, and I want to respect everyone here, right? The embodiment of Robin Givens, who was the thin, you know, she was with Tyson too, Mike Tyson's wife for a second, right?
At the time.
Thin, brown skin, long hair, but not super curvaceous, right?
No.
That model look of the 80s, right? That model look that they had, you know. And
She
then
was the it girl.
She was the
for
it girl.
all the
Absolutely.
movies, right? At the time. Okay.
Well, not all of them, but she was
A lot of them,
because you know they only
sorry.
allow a certain amount of black
I'm
women.
saying for
to
black
be,
women.
Yeah.
I didn't mean all. I meant like black cinema.
That's what I mean. They only
okay.
allow 2 or 3. They talk about this all the time. They only allow like 2 or 3 at a time.
Right.
So seeing that, and then also having the introduction of low haircut,
Yeah, she had a short. Yep.
fair skinned.
She had the pixie.
Yeah, fair skinned girl who ain't super duper skinny.
Nope.
You know what I mean? A little more curvaceous.
I mean,
you know?
she's thin, but
Right.
yeah,
A little more
she got
curvaceous.
a little bump. And,
Right. But it was watching the changing of the guard, so to speak,
Right.
in real time. You know what I mean? Of course, Halle Berry would go on to be Halle Berry.
Her career, like,
but, you know,
soared.
but it was
after
interesting
this.
watching that. And, you know, ultimately, they do find their way back to each, or he finds his way, and she takes him back. Now, once again, end of the road. Love Should Have Brought You Home, Toni Braxton. So
Was that in the movie?
that's where it came from. That's
shoot.
the main
forgot
clip
that one.
where he was like, she was like,
right,
Love
right.
Should Have Brought Your Behind Home. You know what I mean? And so, Babyface, L.A. Reid and Babyface, they dominated that whole.
Yep.
That whole. Martin was in it. Yep, Martin was in it. What's my man from Men Living Color? He was in it.
Wayans.
Nope, the other one.
Greer.
Yeah, David Allen Greer was in it. Yeah, so it had a lot of good. Bang, bang, bang. He was in it.
Pop.
There's so many quotables. It's a classic.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
definitely.
And that's Boomerang coming in at number 6. Number 5, I'm gonna let my beautiful wife take this one. I bet you guys don't even see this one coming. But number 5 shakes up the list in a tremendous way. And if you don't like the movie, then you can. No, I'm saying. But go ahead. Number 5.
It's Up.
Yeah. And stop.
Oh, Up.
Yeah.
Definitely love Up.
love
Pixar did its thing, right? It's Pixar, right?
It might be DreamWorks.
It might be DreamWorks. It might be It's Pixar. Thank you.
Pixar. Okay.
Appreciate
Get
it.
right.
Yes. I said Pixar, right?
You did.
Okay,
You
cool.
did.
All right. So, absolutely love the montage at the beginning of the movie.
That's how they pull you in.
I cried. I sobbed like a big old baby. At the beginning of this movie, you were at the time, just as a timestamp.
Mm-hmm.
He was overseas. That was during that time. We talked about it in a previous episode,
Go
right?
watch it.
And so he was away at the time. I was just sitting in the living room, and Up came on. And I turned it on, and I'm sitting by myself. I think Shane was asleep in her crib. And I watched it, and I needed to feel bad, I guess. I needed to feel. I needed to be like sit in that feeling. And so I sat with that, and I was like thinking about what life would be fast forward however many years. And so that montage of that, just, or vignette or whatever you would call it, right? Like that just love story between he and his wife and her passing and wanting to get to that mountain or wherever it was that they were headed was just beautiful. And then when that...
And we built this house together, so I'm bringing this with me.
I am taking the house and the balloons. Oh my gosh. Like, ooh, uppercut. Just gets me. So for just that alone was like, if you're talking about love stories,
that's it.
So well done. Done.
That is it. I love Up.
I do.
It makes you feel fantastic. Even when you
that
say
little boy gets on my nerves.
Right. But he's meant to. I think he was meant to. Little fat. Right. I think he was meant to. And just like the dog, and was the cat or dog?
The dog.
The dog, and I just I'm stuck with the putting her hand on the mailbox, and then him putting his hand on the mailbox.
Oh.
Right. Sucker for love.
Yep.
That's what we are. Sucker for love.
Such a good movie.
But yeah, that's coming to number 5 is Up. Once again, number 5 is Up. All right. So number 4, Brown Sugar. All right. Brown Sugar hits me at a special place because I am a hip hop lover. Right.
The girl is mine.
Gotta get that. Gotta get that. Yeah, Brown Sugar. My divorce. So I'm a hip hop lover.
Hip hop
Dalmatians. Ren and 10. Wow. They did a fantastic job, I believe, of encapsulating what the moment would look like. Set in New York City. 2 kids who love hip hop, and their love is what's the literary device that they're using here when they're paralleling their love to their love of hip hop, almost like what Common did with
the song.
Yep. I used to love her.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Don't get stuck on it. No worries.
Okay.
No worries. But you got two people who grew up together, falling in love with hip hop. And then, of course, the underlying theme is that we all know they're in love with each other. And they're both trying to move about their life professionally in the music business, specific to hip-hop. In the hip-hop business, one as a writer, one as a producer, A&R, whatever his title was, and working for a label. You know what I mean? Which appeared to be whatever label you want to throw in there. I love how they did that. It could have been anything.
It could have been.
But he was doing that. It was a
Def
hip-hop
Jam.
label. Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because they went to the Def Jam party. Right.
That's right. And that's where he proposed and all that. Okay, got it. Yep.
Speaking of Def Jam party,
Can
I tell my story?
Tell your story.
I've been to a Def Jam party, Mark. I know it's not a thing anymore, but there was a moment where if you went to a Def Jam party, it was monumental. I've been to a Def Jam party.
He's been to a Def Jam party.
So shout out to my guy, Corron, who came home to visit, and was like, yo, I need you to, come with me up to New York to this Def Jam party. And I was sick as a dog, remember?
Yep.
Sick as a dog. And I was like, I'm going. I'm definitely going to this Def Jam party.
I'm glad you went.
Yeah, I'm so glad I went too. Mm-hmm. And I think Funk Flex was the
DJ. Yes.
Oh, I got to see Funk Flex live and in person, and he was incredible.
He was.
I was starstruck, of course, seeing all those people. I think DJ Envy pulled up in something crazy. He pulled up in something crazy. Rick Ross' head was this big.
You did say that.
I couldn't believe how big his head was, him and Calil.
He wasn't that tall either.
Nah,
right?
his head's 2 feet tall. You know what I mean? But his beard was so well groomed.
Yeah.
His beard was like perfect.
Well, he's thin now.
Perfect. But also, shout out to my guy Corron. I don't know how I got here, but being whisked away in the middle of our, enjoying this to talk to L.A. Reid. And I was like, if you know where we're from, if you
huge
remember Corron and I, and you know that we was in the basement, I'm dribbling my ball while he was learning to play the keys and working on his craft, to know where we come from and to see him move that way, and to be there, Mark, to watch him get requested by L.A. Reid, you know, to go have this conversation about potentially doing some music, was like, I made it. Like, mama, I made it.
Yep.
That's my homeboy. Look at this guy go. It was so cool.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
That's fine.
So, sorry.
That's
But
okay.
I digress. Shout out
Brown
to Quali.
Sugar.
Brown Sugar.
Yep.
Brown Sugar. Good movie. They figured it out, and they did it, too. They took you all the way up the mountain of them playing, one getting married.
I mean, they were both going to get,
Yeah.
I mean, one was married.
Yep.
One was married, and then Dre got married
Yep.
to, I don't remember her name, and then Sydney was planning to
Nicole
marry.
Ari Parker was his
Right,
wife.
that's
Yeah,
I know the
but don't
actress,
her-
but I didn't
yeah.
know her character name. But anyway, they end up potentially like getting the engagement at New Year's or whenever it was, and then
To Kelby. Not Kobe, but the
Kelby.
NBA star was Kelby.
which was Nicole Ari
Right.
Parker's
Boris.
Koja, right?
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So they end up realizing pretty early on, right? Or no, pretty late in the movie
Yeah.
that they
yeah.
needed to be together,
Yeah.
and they end up together.
You rooting for him, and they finally figure it out, and it's old school, and the soundtrack was dope, and I love the
She didn't believe in
gear.
his dreams.
Right.
She didn't believe in his dreams. You don't believe in somebody's dreams. You don't
It's
believe in
rough.
them,
That's rough.
unfortunately. So
That's deep. It's deep.
yeah,
All right, so number 4 was Brown Sugar. Number 3, Love and Basketball.
top 3. Yeah.
Fight me about it, all right? Yeah, like, nah, I don't want to talk about it. Love and Basketball is in your top 3, and I don't care of any genre, if you haven't seen Love and Basketball,
You should watch it.
tisk, like shame on you. Come on. I'm a basketball lover, right?
Yep.
And I love love, right? But set in South LA, Crenshaw, right?
Yep.
You know, that's where we stay, on the South LA. So set in they take you all the way through from like 80s, right? 80s, all the way through these two
High school through college.
Yeah, they love their neighbors. They love basketball. They're both at the top. They're both stars. You know what I mean, being recruited and so and such, and it follows the journey all the way through, you know, and I just love how they respect the game. You know how big I am on this. If the choreography on basketball movies is off, you lose me.
Yes.
You really, really lose me.
He has
And
a hard time with that.
You lose me. And I know for a fact that it was tough. I respected Sanaa Lathan because you can tell that she had to work out and train to make us believe that she was a hooper.
Okay.
And I respected that.
Yeah.
I really respected that. Now,
To pass you the ball.
you know what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Now, on my Epps, on the other hand, I love you, brother. My guy. You know we love you. Woo. That was tough to believe.
But
was
you
tough.
love the movie.
But it was tough to believe
Right.
as a hooper. I'm like,
Do you want to talk about any of the toxicity in love and basketball?
you go for it.
No, I
follow
mean,
your lead.
No. I'm just curious because I mean, I like the movie too,
Yeah.
but I also think that there was a whole lot of like, you need to like love and adore and take care of me while she was aspiring towards her own dreams, and some of that was sometimes pushed aside. And
She didn't allow it. So eventually they had to.
well, because things
sever
came to
ties.
a head.
Yeah.
But like, he was really angry with her when she was like, I don't want to break curfew. I know that you just found this thing out, this lie with your father and all of that. I understand that's personal, but I got to go because I got practice in the morning.
And it showed. Yes, you are 100%. And I love whoever wrote that. They were light years ahead of their time, because that was it. It was right there. They were showing you this is what women have to dueled with. You know what I mean? Being taken serious as athletes, while their counterpart is just like, what we doing?
I'm doing me.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like he was just totally
Crazy.
oblivious to the idea that she was, you know what I
Aspiring
mean?
towards something
Yeah,
too.
and that she loved it. And now that we think about it, she might have loved it more than he did.
Maybe.
She might have loved it. She might have loved it a little more than he did.
Maybe it's inferred. So I love in basketball. I'm not challenging the ranking by any means, but with adult eyes, I look at some of these movies a little bit differently, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, for my girl, my 15-year-old, I want you to be watching these with two lenses.
Yeah.
One, just the romance, but also, don't dim your light. Don't let folks do certain things. I don't want to get too preachy, but I just wanted to name that because I think that that's a common thread along a lot of these rom-com
Shout
videos.
out to whoever did Love and Basketball because you did a fantastic job of painting that picture.
Yeah.
Of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even the international game, which people don't talk about. I'll leave it alone. But they act like FIBA basketball is just so second fiddle. You know what I mean? I'm like, people are making lives over there and being appreciated for their skill over there. And now, not only are they being appreciated, those players have elevated their game, and the game is.
So I know that Marbury is not. It's not FIBA, correct?
What do you mean?
Because he's in China.
That's FIBA basketball.
That is FIBA basketball.
That's
so
all FIBA basketball.
And he's.
It's not FIBA like that's not like the tournament style, like the FIBA of Americas or Eurobasket or any of those things. But international basketball or overseas basketball, as people say, is played under the regulation of FIBA.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So would you say then that that's another reason that maybe this resonates a little bit more for you? Okay.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. Thank you for unearthing that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
2 more.
Were you there already?
2 more.
All right. So that was Love and Basketball number 3. Number 2, some people say it should be number 1. And there's people fight over it all the time. I don't see what y'all see, and I don't know what y'all see in it. But you got Love Jones, sweetest thing I ever known.
That song.
Isn't that funny how you associate? Can
And
you
the
imagine
penny
if
with
that
a
song
hole
was
in it?
on Miseducation?
Done.
Oh, my goodness.
Such a good song. So,
Yeah.
moment of truth. I didn't watch Love Jones until 2 years ago.
Wow.
Eek.
Wow.
There was another one that at the time I couldn't watch these movies.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowing it, and here we are, right? So I didn't watch it until I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Watched it, was like, oh my gosh, this movie's so good. Yet toxic. A whole It's a lot of game playing on both ends. A lot of manipulation. A lot of
which makes it feel real a little bit.
because it's a level of like immaturity.
Right.
In this real like mature space. So premise what? They like each other.
Chicago.
Yeah, they're in Chicago.
Yep. They love the art form of writing and poetry.
Yes. So they're doing all these they're at these types of settings. I think I want to just name, I think that's another reason that I didn't totally love The Photograph, because I feel like there was a whole lot of elements of Love Jones in.
I think they paid homage to what they
I didn't
believed.
feel like it was homage though, but okay, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm fairly. What do I know? She's not here, but I believe Issa's intelligent enough to realize how beloved the Love Jones is to us,
Right.
and that she's gonna grab some elements and throw it in there.
I mean, but just, yeah, okay. We don't have to go there. But I think it was just a lot of gameplay. And I remember being really agitated as I'm watching the first time and then watching it again with Nia Long. And I'm like, why didn't she just say what she needs to say? And I mean, but then there's that beloved scene, right? Where he's in the jeans on the couch, losing it. And she's upstairs in her room, losing it. And I'm like, you see, y'all play too much. Just do what you got to do. Let's be adults. But it's that cat and mouse chase that's happening even after, in a lot of ways, the cat and the mouse have already come to play. So, great movie. Cool, it's ranked second.
Which a lot of people would have it first. I loved the Chicago setting because there's another city that I haven't had a chance to. How you travel international, you haven't been to Chicago yet.
Or New Orleans.
Or New Orleans, right.
Yeah.
So Been to like 18 different countries and haven't seen Chicago yet.
Soon.
But I liked the Chicago the backdrop. I liked the art poet side of it being. I love to see black folks in that capacity.
Don't they have like a scene where they're dancing?
Yeah, I love that. The photograph as well. I love seeing them dance when they went to New Orleans.
Right.
I love the introduction of the culture of certain cities.
That mix of cultures.
Yeah, New York, New Orleans, Chicago, and how we're as black folks interacting as young urbans and artists, and I like that little feel.
But outside of that monolith that sometimes we're stigmatized to be a part of.
Yes,
Yeah,
so I love that part. Of Love Jones, him having his motorcycle,
right?
Her as a
that motorcycle in the rain, like
right.
boy, why you ain't got no car?
It was
Come on,
great imagery, beautiful imagery.
It was, but
beautiful imagery.
Just broke.
Right, and he ain't had no shape up either. I struggle with that.
Aspiring.
Right, he ain't had no shape up, no line up. I
Writer.
struggle with that. But it was like I get it. I get what y'all was going for. They could have easily substituted any background.
Right.
In that movie and still got, the premise off.
Yeah.
Got the point across. But I loved it. They figured it out. And even the way they figured it out she was like, your timing couldn't be any worse.
Yep.
You want what you want when you want it. So they were.
That's that train, right?
Yep.
When she takes the position and.
Yep. She comes back and finally ends it with Raheem from Juice.
Yeah.
That's Raheem from Juice for me. I don't know his name. Yeah.
Yep.
But they tried again and she was like, this don't work for me, man.
It's not working. Yeah.
This don't work.
But she does take the job out there.
She does.
That's what she was out there for,
Yes.
right? And then they connect or reconnect.
New York. She went to New York.
Yep,
and then they reconnect. And I love it. I do love it. I get why people love it so much. And there's some people who just don't see it, but I guess, art is subjective.
Right.
It is.
But it is. It's that chase. Martin and Gina did it.
Yes.
Had something similar to that in the show. And yes, we
And
love it. And
love it. And once again, the
song.
Refugee All-Stars, Lauryn Hill, Sweetest Thing.
Classic.
Arguably one of the greatest songs ever written, if you ask me.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later. But man, perfect song.
Yes.
They also retired Michael Jordan to that song too. But okay. I don't want to go there. Number 1. Drum roll, please. You're not going to like this one. And it's on purpose. Queen and Slim.
Queen and Slim.
Here's the deal. I'm going to let my wife have it. When it comes to cinema, when it comes to art, cinema, music, I believe that you've got to cover a lot of bases and you've got to be careful. And you've got to have good screenplay. You have to have the right artists that can articulate what the writer was trying to get across.
Such a good job.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this was thought-provoking.
Go ahead, Lena.
Thoughtful, and also pushed the envelope.
Yes.
All things that I love. My wife and our relationship started rebelliously in a rebellious fashion. Neither of our parents were saying go date, right? They weren't pushing us out there to go date. Go date. Go figure it out. Go understand all of this. No, we were rebellious in spirit. And these two people were, the epitome of rebellion, fighting for their lives.
It wasn't even love at first. It was a first date. Wild what was happening and all that racial
and
tension
she was so
and
not
all that.
buying in.
She was just not interested in any of that. And as it evolves and as the time moves in such a short span, what was it, like 3 or 4 days?
Yeah,
I think it was
maybe a week. Let's give it a week.
Maybe a week. I don't even remember. Sorry, I don't remember exactly the span of it, but it gives me very Romeo and Juliet vibes at the very end. Like dying, this kind of martyr love and something that has evolved out of, like you said, this rebellious type of situation. But the rebellion in a lot of ways was like against the two of them. Right.
It's so many stories, the textures, just seeing.
It was cross cultures because it started in Ohio and ended up.
Yes. Ohio, they start coming down. I think they were in Mississippi, Alabama, somewhere.
Yes.
One of those that
then headed to
Florida eventually.
Right.
You know what I mean?
To get on the plane.
But how they stopped? Did he stop in New Orleans? Did they stop in New Orleans or somewhere where her uncle was?
Yes.
Even that moment where you're supposed to judge. He lives in a home, and there's structure
with his
hoes.
Yeah.
He's a pimp. You know what I mean? And he lives with his hoes. And after you watch this, they give you a look inside of the bowl of the humans that are these women, the beautiful humans that are these women,
Right.
and the beautiful heart that he has, as he recognizes. Now that I look back on it, he knew they didn't have a shot,
No.
but he was willing to do his part.
To help her.
Yeah, there's so many stories from the cop, attempting to take their life, and they refuting, like, I'm going to live. I'm going to live. But even in that fight to live, how they were viewed as villains, Bonnie and Clyde. But all the while just trying to stay low, stay out of Dodge, maybe get down to Florida so they can fly to Cuba or wherever they're going to go. Right. And then even it being almost like a hint or a whisper of like the Underground Railroad, of how people were taking care of them.
Each other, and then not.
Yeah, and then
And
in
then
the end,
at the very end,
how sometimes we for $1,
skin folk don't be kinfolk.
all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Right.
So and then as you said, it sucks to use these words together. The beauty behind their death,
Right.
even to the way they fell.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, I heard that was even thought out.
Oh,
about
all
how
of
their
it was
bodies
theatrical.
Fell. It was interesting, man. Because she
Extremely layered.
cut her hair, right? She's been having to cut her hair, and then you get to see this beautiful chocolate woman with this hair. Even that, the hair part. You know what I mean? With that happening, and how their relationship grew in transit, literal transit, but also in transit.
Yep.
You know, so even when they were intimate, you felt like they deserve this. You know what I mean? Of course, it's intimacy, and there's, you know what I mean, brown skin. Another great soundtrack.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was a beautiful, beautiful articulation, while also being thoughtful, thought-provoking, rebellious in nature, perfect for the time, 2020. We were in the middle of.
We woke.
We were super duper woke at the moment. We were fighting, and I believe.
I don't mean that sarcastically, but it was a moment.
Right. And the sidebar is, I believe that was the straw that broke the camel's back regarding our country. They were like, no more of this. We're not doing this. But
they too loud and opinionated.
Right. We're not doing this.
Got it.
But that's why Queen and Slim is my number one. I know Love Jones
our
number one.
Number one.
Love Jones could easily be slotted there. But Queen and Slim delivered in a way that is just extremely difficult to do. The articulation of your thought from your heart and your gifts,
and
then to put it out, execution for people to see. Oh man, how beautiful!
Such a good.
So yeah, I'm gonna run through these. So at 10, we had Trainwreck. Number 9 was Poetic Justice. Number 8 was Pretty Women. Number 7, sound like a DJ. Number 7 was Photograph. 6, Boomerang. 5, Up. 4, Brown Sugar. 3, Love and Basketball. 2, Love Jones, and 1, Queen and Slim. But wait, before we sign off, and we get out of here, we got to make sure we got some honorable mentions. Some of them might be a stretch for you guys, but it's okay. It might be a stretch. I totally understand, but we feel the love in it.
Yes.
All right. Carlito's Way. Carlito Brigante.
It's not a love story, but it is such a love story, I think. He was getting on that train. He was going to meet her.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I'm like,
why didn't he?
It's going to happen. He's going to make it. He is not going to die he's not going to be shot down before he gets on that train.
And they tell you in the opening scene, sorry, boys.
Yep.
Gonna stretch my mic out and, Carlito Brigante. He was in love, obviously, but he was fighting his own demons. Right or Gail, that's who I am. Right or wrong. Shout out to my Uncle Rodney, who put me on to that in England.
Okay.
I had never seen Carlito's Way.
Right.
And now that is one of my favorite movies. Shout out, Unc.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Unc. Good one.
Okay. And in terms of Carlito's Way, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say the same thing. And I think a lot of times people think it's not a love story because one of the things that you had mentioned, right, is there's so much character development, like with him, or there's a regression, and then
You're right.
he's like pulled back, and then he takes 10 steps, and then he takes six back, and there's a whole bunch of like back and forth for him, and so it feels like the love story is secondary. But I believe, maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, but I believe some of that growing on that end was because of his love and that desire to have his child and be with Gail,
who was dancing in the final scene in the Bahamas. It leads it up to us to kind to the to the imagination, but
Correct.
you feel but it's just like
Such a
you
good one.
see Benny Blanco running, and you're like, oh, Carlito.
Like, why did he have to be so slick mouth with these young? What they call them, YNs? These YNs, man.
Man, so
Carlito.
Brigante. Every time I watch it, I hope you make it, man.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
hope you make it.
Braveheart, that's you.
Braveheart.
That's all you.
Yes, ma'am. Braveheart. Not my favorite. Maybe my second favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah, I'm definitely Andy Dufresne.
Shawshank.
Shawshank is my number one movie. And then I'm probably going Braveheart. I know that you probably can't consider Braveheart a love movie per se. But this villain, poet, warrior, as he says, was triggered by what they did to his baby girl.
Yep.
Under the rule of England, they had to allow their wives to have sex with the lords who oversee the land in Scotland at the time.
Yep.
And he was like, we got married in secrecy because of this. And now I return and you slit my baby's throat because she won't let you smash on our wedding night. Everybody got to go. But then it was
and everyone goes.
Everybody got to go. Yep. Even so much so that eventually they don't show you it, but they talk about how he had went and got her body out of where it was and laid her to rest somewhere more peaceful. Gross for some people, but beautiful for some people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then he became
It was different times.
It's different times, man. That's my wife's body. What are we doing?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right. There's something about being laid to rest near the one.
Yes.
So
laid
anyway.
to rest. Right.
Last.
I know.
This is totally him.
This is totally me. Me and Corron talk about this all the time. Yes, Rocky is a franchise. Think about the Apollo all the way through Rocky 4, 3, Hulk Hogan, Apollo, Clubber Lang. Yes, I know. But the original Rocky that he wrote, that Sylvester Stallone broke while he was writing it, by the way, was about him and his baby, Adrian.
Okay.
It was all about, and the funny part is when you make fun of Rocky, what do people say? What did everybody say? Adrian! He was screaming for his wife, the woman that he loved. You know, they fell in love, and he did it for her. He didn't care about no money. He wanted to make sure she was good. Now, of course, they move on to whatever. I know it's a stretch, but there was a heavy love undertone in Rocky. So there's our honorable mentions, guys. I know I stretched it on Rocky. I know, but it is what it is. It's my podcast. Get your own. But nonetheless, those are our top 10 movies. You know, some of them are, rom-coms, and some of them are straight up love. I almost put The Breakup in there too. I almost threw that in there because that explores. I think I just said it, didn't I? The Breakup. Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston, explores love and relationships.
And throughout the whole movie, you think they're going to get back together.
And they don't.
And then they don't.
Which probably makes it an unclassic. But to me, makes it more memorable. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, I guess the bigger question would be then that, like, do rom-coms, like, do they have to end up together for them to be considered a rom-com?
Right,
or a love story?
I was fine the way it ended. It leaves you
like, oh.
But it still was like, hey, this is real.
But if it's not a rom-com, but a love story, well, you don't always end up with the girl or the guy, right? Like, that's the truth. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Anywho, The
Awesome.
Breakup.
There it is.
Nice work.
Nice work. I like that one.
Did you?
That was way more fun. It felt light. Sometimes we be kind of digging, but marriage is for grown folks. We got to do that sometimes.
And we need
See what I did there?
And we need these movies to help to kind of put some things in perspective for us and our marriage and how and and I think in some ways it helps us to connect because like I said, I didn't really watch movies before you.
That's why I love movies, though. I mean, just the art form itself is sometimes aspirational and inspirational, and I like the idea of, as I get older, how tough it is to put that thing together, to articulate the vision from your heart to your head onto a screen, finding the people to do it, the right actors who can believe it, writers. It's beautiful to me. I'm geeking out. Sorry about that.
But it's okay.
I'll land the plane.
It's all good. I do absolutely love the idea of movies as an escape because that's why I love reading as an escape. And so it's great to be able to watch movies and then have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
You do get a little intense sometimes if my rating is not close enough to yours, and that's okay.
Siskel and Ebert.
Cool.
I'm Siskel.
I'm Ebert then. Which one is not here?
Nobody knows.
Okay, because one of them is not here anymore. Okay, it's cool. Movies.
It's like Hall & Oates. If they walked in the door right now, we wouldn't know who was who.
Marriage for Grown Folks.
Marriage for Grown Folks, man. Yeah. What you got?
Nada.
Recollect? No?
Oh, so I was just gonna, my question was the first love story that made you want more love stories.
Made me want more love stories.
So you watched that movie, that you watched, and you were just like, ooh, I need more of that.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm gonna let you think. I have an answer.
Go ahead.
Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so mine was House Party.
Oh.
Like it wasn't really a love story, but it was a love story, right? Like Tisha and Kid, right? And so for me, my first time watching that, I was like, ooh, I can't wait to go to college. I can't wait to party. I need more of this experience because they look like they're having lots of fun.
Yeah.
So it's probably not quite how I had worded it, but the first time that I was watching this love story or this movie wasn't sappy by any means, right? Yeah. But it was House Party, and I was like,
I dig it.
Yeah, I need that.
I dig it.
In my life.
I dig it. I think it's probably Boomerang for me then.
Okay, cool.
But once again, just the aesthetic of this professional world with nothing but black folks running around with their trench coats and their briefcases and their haircuts and there's so many shades of us and they're senior managers and they're making presentations and he still in the midst of all of this is roof. Wherever he sees somebody, roof. To see him go into his mode and operate and go after the girl and then she snatches his heart and then it's like, oh, here comes Halle Berry. And it's like, hey, bro, she bad too. What you gonna do?
Right.
And then to see him hurt her, but to see her stand her ground and to see him be a sucker after he's the top dog of all players and to see him be vulnerable, I think Boomerang was it.
For you.
Yep. And then, of course, it all is a package, end of the road. You know, all of us was trying to break up with somebody so they could, we come. You know
so
what I mean?
Y'all could suffer.
Right, stupid. But this is why you love
and croon.
Yeah. This is why you love the genre.
Yeah.
House Party.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not quite a love story, again.
Not quite.
But I liked that part of the movie.
Very cool. And they did as well by having the other house parties, which class act and they explored.
Oh, and I watched all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like that recollect. Well, listen, we won't take too much more of your time, man. That's our top 10 right there. Movies. If you haven't seen some of them, watch them. If you hate them, I don't know what to tell you.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments. I know not everyone's going to be happy. It's subjective. It is what it is. All right. But once again, if you subscribe to this idea and this institution of marriage. And you're going to take the journey, or if you're in a great relationship, because we're hearing about your youngins who like watching us, keep watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow us, share it, talk about it. Just be respectful. That's my wife, you know what I'm saying? I'm from a certain place.
Please.
Thank you guys again. We'll see you guys next time.